Hi guys, welcome to this video. This is video number 4 for the vertical board, as you can see there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through a series of photos, because one thing we found out last video is that I can't actually pick up any details with the cameras I've got and the lighting I've got. It just does not work. So I've taken some photographs of the progress as I've been going along. If you've been looking at my social media, you will have seen those already. And I'm going to talk through them, draw some little pictures. And yeah, hopefully the audio and the video is better this week. The mic last week was recording through the webcam as opposed to the actual microphone, which is why that was awful. So fingers crossed I've got the right one and the right setup this week. So let's crack on. Right then, so I'm going to start off by showing you this here. Now this is the different tiles all stacked up together. So obviously you've got the bigger ones on the top here, and then each one of these stacks here is 2, with the platforms interlocking with each other. I can't really do that anymore because I've started adding physical details to each one, so it makes it very uneven, but that's how it is. That's just another view of the same thing. Here we go. So this is basically how the board was when I had a playtest of it. You'll notice that there is a big old hole there. I'm not sure if that was their last video that I recorded. That's a cool little detail I've added. There's going to be lots of sort of pipe work and things coming out of it, and it's going to look awesome. So that's what that hole's going to look like there. I found that these old containers that I did in the old video fit on perfectly, so that's awesome. And another thing you'll notice is that the entire thing is now textured all over the back. Even the doors have been put in, so I'm really chuffed about that. Right, where are we next? Right, so this is something I worked on beginning of this week, probably. Again, if you've been following my social media, you'll have seen this already. We've got some pipes. These are just normal styrene pipes, and then these bits here are built up out of different styrene sheet and put rivets on. Fairly simple stuff. It's a really nice effect, though. It reminds me of Jurassic Park in the electric station, the first one. So that's those guys. That's just another view of it and how it looks. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to avoid putting anything on the floor here, because the width of these platforms is actually just 40 mil. So if they ever release a Necromunda gang or miniature with a 40 mil base, I need to make sure that he's going to fit on these walkways. 32 mil fits perfectly, and 25 mil like these guys fits no problem at all. Right, so this is a detail I've been working on this week. Now, I saw a picture on Google of some cool tanks that were sort of inset into the wall, and I thought it really fit perfectly with the theme of what I'm going for. And then I had these Pegasus pipes here. I've bought some more from eBay, so I'm going to be putting more of those on the board. But it looks really nice, and the detail I was able to get with the styrene cutter just adds a lot. You can't actually see very much, but there is actually a small amount of detail around the edge that I've done. You can just about see it there, where I've basically tried to make it look like there's rivets into the side of the edge, as it were. It'll probably become more apparent when I paint it. So that's that. I've got 2 more of those that I've cut out, and I'm going to be doing one that's sort of broken open or ruptured, and make them look really cool. Right, now we've got a picture of the table, or the board as it were, with the 2 details present. So you've got that one there and that one there, and that's basically just how it looks. Now, yesterday I set upon making a lot more funky details. So I've added all but one of the doors, so there's now 8, I want to say, 8 doors, and I've started adding details like this here. Again, they're all details that I've cut with the styrene cutter and glued together. This one here is 4 layers, I want to say, of styrene, all built up, and then these little vents are 3, I believe. And just gives you that nice sort of 3D look. This here is a piece of pipe with a circular disc with details that I've cut. Just add some really nice 3D details. I think what I'm finding is, now I've put these details in, that this section here looks very plain. So I'm thinking it needs sort of rivets like that, which is going to be quite a big task, because there's loads and loads of these panels all over the board. So it's going to be a bit of a task, a task and a half. Here we go. It's just a picture of. Oh, here we go. I've added some paneling. I was trying to get an idea of how the board would look once it's finished, and so I decided to use this one panel as a sort of a test piece almost. And so I've worked out some of these sort of plates here using textured plastic card, stuck them on, and it's starting to look quite nice. It's got a nice air of beaten up about it. Again, here you can see the plates there and there, and a lovely door in the middle. I'm thinking that the doors need some kind of handle going on about there. They just look a little bit too plain in this area here, but we'll see what I can do. This is a bit of a close-up. Now, what you can see when you look at the close-up, I was trying to stick each of these rivets straight onto the sort of corrugated texture, and it wasn't really working, so I thought it'd be really cool if I basically put little squares of styrene and then stuck the rivet to it, which is basically just chopped up styrene rod, and it makes it look like a makeshift spacer or even an actual bolt, that sort of thing, because you often see sort of really low-tech bolts made out of just square pieces of metal with a hole drilled through, and then that's threaded onto the end of a bolt. Nuts, if you will, not bolts. And then this is how the board looks now. So there's quite a lot going on. What I haven't gone through is I've added actual, like, this here is pipe work. It's just a pipe sticking out of the wall, which I can potentially do some water effects coming out of. There's another pipe down there, and then hidden behind somewhere, I think it's here, is two smaller pipes that look quite cool. We've got the end of a pipe with a vent there. There's one up here. That one looks quite cool up the top there. That one. There's that one. There's a couple more hiding around the place. You can't see them on the bottom levels because of just the angle of where the camera is. And then we've got some of the square ones. There's one there. You can see the very bottom of one there. There's about 4 or 5 of those spattered around the place, but you can't really see them because, again, they're hidden well in the shadow. Once I've got all this painted, it'll look a lot better. You'll be able to see all the details much easier. For example, you can barely tell that there's a door there. There's a door there. There's a door there and there and there. Where else have we got doors? There's one there you can't really see. There's one here. So yeah, there's just a lot of detail on the board that I'm really struggling to pick out with the camera. Oh, and there's one in the center there. So there's quite a few doors across this whole piece. But like I say, it's not coming up on camera, so I'm struggling to show you guys. So I really need to get this thing detailed and finished. And there's a lot more detail to add, unfortunately, before I get to that stage. So I can paint the thing, and you can really start to see everything pop. And I think that is the last picture. So I'll just bring you back here. Right, so yeah, that's my update video on the vertical board. If you've got any ideas on sort of cool details I can add, I'm thinking more vents, more pipe work, a lot more of those panels with where it's sort of bolted on, looking like it's damaged. I need to scratch everything up as well. I'll be putting divots and bullet holes into things, all sorts of stuff. Wiring coming out the wall and going along the platforms. You can chop up really thin wire into tiny little pieces, and they can actually be bullet casings, so you can spread those around from the auto guns around on the platforms themselves. And when it's painted, I'm thinking of maybe having water effects that are dripping from some pipes onto one of the platforms, that sort of thing. So I'm really sort of looking forward to doing that sort of stuff. What I need to do is a lot more of the railings as well. I just need to get them all cut and glued and all that. There's a never-ending list of things to do, and that's before I even tackle some of the add-ons I'm looking at. I'm thinking maybe, because the idea is that this is the edge of a vent. So if you imagine a massive sort of vent, and these are access panels, access platforms on the outside to maintain the edges of the wall, essentially. And so if you imagine a big updraft, which is coming up the middle here, what I want to do is I want to have some bits that clamp onto the side that have a wind turbine, a horizontal wind turbine. And of course, on top of that, I can put a grill, and I can make it into a platform, and that can hook onto the edge, and so protrude even further. And I can have some really cool details with some fans, that sort of thing. I want to have a lift that can go up and down maybe 4 of the floors and maybe have 2 of them so that it can do the whole length of the board. All sorts of stuff like that. So I really need to crack on and do all the details. Though that said, this is a project of passion for me. It's something I've been meaning to do for such a long time. And so I really want to take my time, get it right, and not rush to get painting, because so many times I've been building stuff and I've really wanted to get it finished, so I've started painting it before it was ready, and then after I've painted it, thought, oh, I could add all those cool details onto it. So that's one thing I really, really want to avoid this time. So I think slowing down and taking it at a good pace is the way to go. And keeping me busy is just all the repeatable details, like vents and things. And I've got more. This is basically what the circular tank is made out of. There's this piece here, and then that goes on top of it, which gives you depth on all these bits, but also that bit. And then you've got the edge, which looks like that. And then you've got this piece here, which gives depth to the edge and also to the stair bit. So there's actually 4 layers. 5 layers, because you've got this bit here which makes up the actual back of it as well. So that all goes together, and then I basically build up around the outside and wrap a piece of styrene around. So it's quite a lengthy process getting one of these things ready. This is why I've decided to only make 3 of them, because I think they're really cool details. They take up a whole one of those little panels, which I needn't have detailed in the first place, but there you go. And yeah, so lots more to do. I hope you guys are going to stick with me through it, because I'm really enjoying doing it, especially now I'm past the stage where I'm just trying to detail everything. Yeah, the texturing is done. Now comes the fun bit, sticking pipes everywhere and cool details that make it look more and more derelict. Need to take a knife and some clippers to all the different bits and make them look worn out and bits missing, like the ladders and whatnot. It's going to look awesome. I am really looking forward to it. Right, I've rambled on far too long, especially with you guys looking at this crap around here. So I'm going to say thank you very much for watching. Keep up with me in between videos on these things over here. Right then, stay well, guys.